Today on Culture Diaries, we have the White Space here in Ikoyi, which is an experimental and experiential art space. It's used as a pop-up restaurant, a gallery, an installation space, even for fashion shows as well. Well, today on the program, our guest is, she is a writer, she's a producer, a broadcaster, she's not a director yet. I don't know why. She's also an actor, which is what she's mainly known as, and she's a mother and a wife, and she is just simply incredible. Her name is Ireti Doyle. Welcome to the program.
Hello, Wana. You just gave me joy. Finally, someone acknowledges that she's better known as an actor. You know how many years it took for people to...
Are you serious?
Yes, for many years, like, no, you're a presenter. In fact, there's one major name, a director, producer, who offended me. I held on to that offense for years. Father,
what did he call you?
For some, you know, every perform. I don't know about every. Well, I had my short list of people I wanted to work with, actors, producers, directors, when I was starting out in the business, and he was on that list.
Yeah.
And I'm very unabashed about, you know, letting you know that, hey, I feel you, I'd like to work with you. So over the years, I've been hinting and hinting and hinting. And in fact, there was one particular year he produced this film, and he gave it to an individual that I personally consider to be tepid.
Okay.
And he was like, don't worry, your time will come. And then I met him this day, and our usual banter, and he goes, no, don't worry, this is where we put you, just stay there.
Oh dear.
I was like, no, you did it.
The diva you didn't come out.
In several ways for over a period of 2 years. Every time and this was a serious egmont, not even egmont like father, but for 2 years, every time he knew he had goofed. He knew, and but for me, the payback for me was last year when Torn came out, and every single person, each one of them, one by one, came and said, we were wrong. Some didn't come out and say it like that. One went, finally, you've shown us you could do it. I was like, yeah, finally, after 20 years, I've shown you finally, really. But
now, speaking of that sort of situation, I know we've had this sort of conversation before where you're seen as the character actor and not the, in quote, the leading woman. Do you ever feel resentful about that?
All through the better part of my career, yes. But I have greater understanding now. Treasure is never cast about carelessly. You have to dig for it. You have to find it. I'm treasure. Not too many people realize that. And unfortunately, we're taking, not just our society, it's called show business. You have to show. If you're not showy, if you're not flashy, people tend to overlook you.
I mean this in a bad way, but I mean, you become a sex symbol in your...
Oh no, I don't know. There's just something about a woman in her 40s. You've come to terms with who you are.
Okay.
You love yourself, what's and all. I love myself.
But do you wish you got there faster?
No. I wouldn't have achieved this level of zen or confidence if I didn't go through the years and the experiences and everything I needed to go through. Come on, that's why things, you know, if you can just release yourself into, people want to call it luck, life, I will call it what it is. If you can just read that, my formula. Don't subscribe. If you're wise, subscribe. If you can just release yourself into the hands of the Lord God Almighty, you know, you'll get where you need to be. Just chill. And understand that whatever mistakes you make today, don't carry them into tomorrow. Just learn, Ireti, you cock up here. Don't do it next time.
You talked about getting excited by what you do. What jumps at you when you read a story, read a script?
An unforgettable character. She has to be unforgettable. It has to be and a meaty story, a well-written script, but it has to be the character. She has to jump out at me. She has to be intelligent, strong, sexy, unforgettable. And once that's done, you probably could get me for free. Do you understand? You're like, I have this running battle with my manager.
Right,
like,
I'm going to hold her.
I have this running battle, but I am a performer. If I didn't have a family, and that time is coming because my younger ones are all grown, the last two will be in boarding school by September, by His grace. At which time I'm going to be, my rucksack is going to be on my back, and it's like, where's the next performance? I'm a minstrel at heart,
Talking about unforgettable characters, I think last year was the year for you with these characters.
They came fast and furious.
I mean, I don't know how lucky somebody could be, or how blessed somebody could be. Let me talk about Illa and Giddy Up first. It's an ensemble cast, but you don't even have as much screen time.
No.
But when you saw that character, when you got given the script, how did you feel? Because it seemed like you just wanted to chew her up and you were looking forward to it.
Yes. Lala called me and said you were being considered for a role in Giddy Up. Now, I had heard about it.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it, but what I heard, I had liked. Yeah. So I said, okay, what is she? Sexy, rich, cool guy. I was like, yes! Yes, because for several years I was always cast as a goody goody two shoe.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You need to be known for something. You need to have a calling card. But I do have a wide range.
Yeah.
So every opportunity I get to play something else, it's not even so much because I want to prove any artistic points. Like, okay, I'm sick and tired of being the good girl here.
Yeah.
Can I have some fun? And then I said, okay, who's my toy boy? And she said, Osi Ukija. It's done.
Let's talk about, there was a scene where Illa she gives like this hint of vulnerability. It's like a moment, then she shuts the door very quickly. I think this is where you're schooling OC's character. Giddy Up. And I think that is one of the most memorable scenes for a lot of people. Was there any personal experience that went into that, into the sense of being able to just open up like a flower but close up and shut up really quickly?
If I answer that question truthfully, I probably will be exposing the real me a little bit too much.
We like a bit of vulnerability.
I'm a very vulnerable person, naturally.
Okay.
Which is why which is why I've grown to be very, very careful with my relationships and people that I allow into my inner circle. Okay. I don't know how to give halfway. If you're my friend, you're my friend. I don't know how to keep a little bit of me away. Yeah. If I'm invested in you, I'm invested in you. And
it's all or nothing for you.
It's all or nothing. My friendships, my relationships, my business, anything. Yeah. Which is why my inner clique of friends is very small. Yeah. Because you know what it is to open up yourself like that. So that's me. That's the real me. However, when I'm working, there are absolutely no holds barred emotionally. You're only for an actor, if you cannot show emotion, if you cannot go there, then you might as well pack up and go and look for something else to do. So, and I'm not afraid to tap into those emotions, maybe because I've experienced a lot of pain as an individual in my life growing up. So I use what I need to use to get where I need to go in my work. What
about Janisola Richards on Dowry? I think she's just mad. I think she's mad and amazing at the same time.
Is she mad?
I feel like she deserves her own show. No, seriously.
I think the entire production is mad. I think everybody's slightly insane.
Absolutely.
Do you know, for a long time I didn't even understand.
But was she like that on the page, or you just found something to bring to her?
Yes, that's it. I didn't. Illa, I knew who Illa was from the get-go. Okay. I knew who she was going to be. Yeah. I knew how she looked. I knew everything. Janisola was a grab bag of just, no, she's not all right. She's mad. Yeah. Someone who writes speeches and crazy things. And there was no other way to play her but very large. And overshadow everybody else.
She is quite large.
That's the only way.
Do you feel any guilt in that regard? That she's such a large character that she's going to take over a lot of people?
I just said to you a couple of sentences ago, when it comes to my work, I take no prisoners.
Okay.
There are no holes barred. It's a performance. Perform.
Yeah.
However, I do not and will never set out to upstage anyone, because I understand that a production is, especially an ensemble piece, is only as good as long as everybody is looking good. Amaka Igwe said to me very early in this career, very, very early, she said to me, "Go rest your feet, music never starts." And I was getting pretty frustrated at the time. I know I have this time. Why? You don't want to be dancing now. Wait, you go dance, tire. Go and rest your feet. And it just, you need to understand who you are as an artist. You need to understand. I hate this word because we begin to talk about human beings as though they were inanimate objects. But the truth of the matter is, you need to understand your brand. You need to understand where you fit in.
Yeah.
I found my niche.
Tell me about working with Wana on Here Word, because I remember watching that performance and I was in tears.
Which one of them?
When you were in the house, the Northern Woman. I was just bawling. I was bawling. I'm generally quite mushy, but I was bawling because I don't know. You really connected with the character for me, and in a weird way, the character is also very distant from what I know.
Okay.
But to be able to still be able to carry that and communicate that to the audience.
And that's strange because she wasn't particularly sad in her recitation.
Yeah, but there was something, you know, in that particular performance, in that particular piece as well. What was it like working with Ifoma?
Fantastic. Number one, when you work for some crazy, I don't know, that's the effect she has on me. When I work with her, I just want to please her. Okay. You don't want to let her down. She's not a slave driver. She's very fantastic to work with. A lot of thought goes into the selection of her cast. You can tell, but when you see the ensemble. And ironically, she works with some of the busiest actors in the business. So it's not as if we even have regular rehearsal times, like we all get together. No, would you believe it? We rehearse individually. You go work on your individual pieces, and you meet with her one-on-one, and then we have, you know, as performance date comes closer, we begin to merge and begin to mesh. So I like her style. And because she puts very little pressure on you, maybe that's what, you know, spurs my desire to please.
Is she collaborative in the sense of giving you a room to express yourself?
Oh yes. Oh, you have to bring it. She will draw you, she will present you with a frame. Okay. This is the framework. But you see, what goes into that frame is completely up to you. However, she does know what she wants. Yeah. She will nip and talk, so to speak. She'll give you the framework, you go fill the frame, and then she will nip and talk. Yeah.
So why haven't you directed yet?
I don't feel the need to push people around. Right now, I am enjoying what I'm doing right now. I enjoy performing. I would do it for free. My fee is very high. I enjoy what I'm doing right now. And even if I did direct, it would be more of an artistic thing, getting the actors to do exactly what I want them to do, and I leave all the technical stuff to the technical crew. Why haven't I done it? I feel no desire to. My plate is full, being an actor and a producer.
Congratulations also on your work on Torn.
Thank you.
That also looked like a very physically draining performance.
It was.
How much of yourself do you have to put into that?
Everything. You can't do that kind of work convincingly if you don't put in everything. Enough respect to Moses Ewan.
Do you ever worry about the audience and how they receive the work? Because I mean, when I think of some of your performances, and it's a lot of yourself that you put in it, and it's almost like saying, "Love me, validate me" in some way without realizing. But do you worry? Do you fear? Especially when the work is done. How are people going to receive this? Are they going to take this? Are they going to love this?
I completely forget about that till we get to the premiere. Okay. I forget that this is for public consumption. Yeah, public consumption. I completely forget because I'm engrossed in what I'm doing. But as we begin to talk premiere, I was like, okay, did we quite hit it on the nail? And did you quite hit the nail on the head? Did we quite get it? Okay, but no.
You still audition.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people wouldn't believe that at a certain point in somebody's career, they must still go for an interview. Because an audition is pretty much like an interview. How are you able to keep your ego to the back and say, when somebody says, I want you to screen test for this, I want you to audition for this, how are you able to keep doing that? Because some people will look and say, I've been in this business for so long and all of those sort of things. I shouldn't be doing this. I don't need to do this.
Really? People think like that?
Yes, I'm sure people do.
Really? Okay. I was trained differently. Okay. I understand that screen tests are a huge part of the job that we do. And you forget. Why do people forget that whatever stage or level you're on, you're not the only one there? You're not the only one there. There's 6 other people being considered alongside you. And what is a screen test for anyway? Of course I know. The fact that I have actually invited you for a screen test is validation enough. I'm looking for, and at this level, the producers are equally respectful. They don't invite me for cattle calls. You're invited for a private reading.
Yeah.
You're called into a nice, comfortable room with just yourself, the producer, whoever's conducting. You're not. So, what's the biggie? I need to see if you work for that character. How do you expect to continue working?
Being there over 20 years, what's the greatest misconception you had as a younger person, younger actor?
That it was going to be easy and that it was going to come fast. When I left Jos, I went to Uni Jos, and when I was moving, my mission statement was very, very short, very sharp. I knew exactly what I was going to do. Yeah. I was coming to Lagos to take over the Nigerian movie scene, period. And I was going to be one of Nigeria's best, period. And I had it all planned out. I'm going to do 1 or 2 Waka Pass roles, 1 or 2 minor roles, 2 years, my major role, boom, household name. Yeah, right.
You didn't quite work out that way, did it?
Not at all.
But are you happy for the way the journey is going?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can only say this with hindsight. There are very, very few performers on my level who can do the entire gamut. I can play Karo, Sisi Karo in Fuji House of Commotion today, and tomorrow be invited to MC an event at Aso Rock, and people will still take me seriously.
And let's talk about Sheila, the character of Sheila on Tinsel. Everyone knows you for that, for that role. How do you keep it fresh? You're playing that character continuously for a number of years, a good number of years. How do you keep it fresh without getting bored?
I do get bored because the very nature of the beast is that the issues will never get resolved.
Yeah.
The day you resolve the issues on a soap is the day that you wrap up the soap. So the characters will only go thus far within their emotional arc or within any given situation. However, you cannot disrespect this kind of work. And I'll tell you why. Very few shows will give you the kind of exposure that Tinsel gives you. It's every day, 5 days a week, 44 countries in Africa and counting, and other parts of the world. Omo, you cannot build that kind of show glass. How do I keep it fresh? By constantly watching my work and marking my papers. You tend to take it for granted. Most of the lead characters, and I mean this very, very sincerely, most of the lead characters on the show no longer look at their scripts because you understand. If they tap you, you wear. In fact, she's never too far away. Sheila is never too far away, and because everybody knows you as Sheila, you usually have to bring her on. Oh, Sheila!
It's like a favorite lipstick.
Yes, it's there, just,
yeah.
Without in the dark, where it is and everything. So sometimes you tend to take her for granted. So I watch my work. When you catch me watching Tinsel, it's actually watch. Okay, you're sleeping here, you're not doing this, but you're not bringing it on. And keeping constantly at the forefront of my mind exactly what that job and what that role does for me. And when you remember why you do it, you bring your A game.
That role also means that you're in people's faces every day.
Every single day.
Automatically makes you a
household name,
a celebrity.
and you have to be there for other things to accrue onto you.
I want to know how, because the celebrity thing easily takes over, and people forget about the work, and people forget about what it is that you do. You seem to have been able to find the balance where you're not everywhere and you're more focused on the work. How are you able to balance that celebrity life, or how much people want to consume you in that kind of way?
I think I have to thank the kind of training I've had. Number one, I would recommend that every actress do a short stint in the theater as a theater artist. It teaches you discipline. I'm sure you would have experienced this, and no disrespect to my colleagues who don't do theater. It's just the truth of the matter. Theater actors are cut from a different cloth. They behave differently. They're a lot more grounded. They're less pretentious. There's no time for that because you're in the theater and you're literally. You don't have time to be a diva. You're switching costumes in between scenes, and it's literally 2 seconds you have to be on. So it doesn't matter who is backstage. Do you understand? There's no time to be prissy and all of that. You learn to be a team player. I would also advise that before you become a star actor, go and do a short stint as a production assistant when you're starting out. When you carry cables and stuff and you understand just how, what's the right term now? How much logistics, is that right?
Okay.
All the logistics put in place just to make you, one little you, look good. You'll have a bit more respect for everything and the process. Yeah. And you really need to cut down on that diva time. It's not profitable. Do you understand? That's one. Two, my partner, Patrick Doyle, very, I mean, if you've experienced Patrick, he's probably one of the biggest names around, and very laid back, very unpretentious. You can't have a partner like that and be all airy-fairy. Yeah. Do you understand? And two, maybe because I've earned my living and I spend a lot of my time, because I work long hours, do you understand? And a large amount of that time is spent in the make-believe world. I'm always some other character, pretending to be somebody, living somebody else's life. So when I'm not working, I need to be me. Yeah. And carrying Ireti Doyle around, that's a huge load to carry. Ireti Doyle, the celebrity, I can't shout. So you see, just be me.
What is the role that you wish you played, that somebody else has already played? Nigerian International, that one.
I don't know if someone else has played it yet, because I haven't seen it. That happened last year. I still think about that script and I like, oh my.
Okay.
But the conversation just went awry.
This is a pretty boring one. Favorite living artist or living performer for you?
Besides myself. There's several.
Give me three. I'll give you allowance for three.
Auntie Taiwa Ajayi said that not just for her performance skills, but because of the kind of human being that she is. Okay. Meryl Streep.
Okay.
I think Meryl Streep and Auntie Taiwo are cut from the same cloth.
Okay.
I have a third person. I can't put myself in there.
No, you can't.
Let me look for a contemporary. Being back in time.
Okay. Okay. Favorite non-living performer?
Any kind of performance?
Any kind of.
Maya Angelou.
Okay. All right. Favorite color and why?
Purple, and I don't know. I've been trying to separate myself from that color, but it's purple.
And you can't figure out why?
Yeah. Okay, these are I'm wearing my favorite colors. Can you see them? I love warm,
you like colors?
Bright, yes.
What's the sound you like to hear when you're reading a script or rehearsing?
I really don't care.
You can listen to anything.
When I'm reading a script.
Yeah, what kind of sound do you like around you?
I don't care. I'm shut down. I'm not listening. I'm in here. When I'm reading a script, I'm in here. Actually, my kids know. Once mommy brings out that thing that has typewritten in, I shut off. I live in my head. Yeah. It's actually scary because there are times I come out of that world and things have taken place. Real life, real time things like things that involve nationhood. Yeah. And I'll be like, when did this happen? When did that happen? And my husband will be like, Ireti, read the papers now. What's the problem? Where have you been?
When was the last time you cried and why?
Today.
Why?
I was watching.
Go on. So obvious. Who are you watching?
One of my 10-year-old shows. And I actually told her to record it. I can't remember the name because there was some dance stage sequence that I liked that I wanted to look at again. And why was I crying? It was a story of a young girl. I think I just caught the end bit. I think they were students. They didn't have an art program in the school, so they put up a big show to raise funds to try and start the program. Yeah. And at the end of the show, they were short of money, and then the little girl, all of 10, came to give this impassioned speech about what art meant to her and everything. And I was just, it moved me the way it was supposed to move the crowd,
Yeah.
and then there I was
So
crying.
you felt like you were in the crowd.
Yeah.
What song would be the soundtrack to your life?
More than many. Oh.
Give me two.
YJ,
Okay.
Take Me Through the Fire.
Okay.
Me, I no go tire, take me to the
All right.
wire.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Rest your feet on the music never starts.
I like that one. If you were a fruit, what would you be and why?
If I was a fruit. Where do these questions come from? I'd be Shawan Shop.
Okay. I love that fruit actually.
Very prickly on the outside, but once you break me up on the inside, it's mushy, moist, and not sticky. But you have to get past that. Get past the prickly outward exterior.
Do you think that art can change the world, and
Yes.
why?
Yes, for several reasons. One, art is probably the one medium via which you can actually tell people the truth about themselves without offending. You can sugarcoat it, make them swallow the bitter pill. Don't worry, in the deepest, darkest hour, they will come to terms with it all and possibly effect change. Two, it's a panacea. Take Nigerians for instance. We probably have our dances get progressively sillier by the day, but it's a good thing. We are so tensed up in this nation. We need an outlet. So all these shoki, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much tension you're letting go of just by indulging in all of that. Why do you think we're some of the happiest people? No, it's not as if everything is hunky-dory. But we just have outlets, not even regular outlets.
Yeah.
So yes, I do think it's important, and I do think it can change. But it also brings us together. We can have 10 different interpretations of that artwork, but we bring fights, unlike football.
In one word, and one word alone, what does art mean to you?
It's such a cliche because I'm restricted to one word, it's life.
Ireti Doyle, thank you so much for being here on Diaries.
I've had a great time. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. If you'd like to find out all the weird and wonderful things I get up to, feel free to follow me on my social media channels. And don't forget to check out my website to find out all the happenings in the world of art and culture. Until next time, remember,